All right, are we on?
We are indeed on.
It's the musical stylings of Fintroll. We appreciate your donations to your local public radio.
Indeed. Gene Simmons fucking really hates the streaming music like Pandora and Spotify.
Really? Well.
Yeah, he says music is what does he call it? He's like, music's about making money. It ain't about charity.
Yeah, well,
But, he's a good soul.
A
fine man.
Not really. Ask Ace Frehley and Peter Criss. Gene Simmons is a good man. Hey, welcome to the Mead, Metal, and MMA podcast. I'm Kevin.
Birthday edition.
Oh, yeah. Another year older for me today.
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you, man. Drinking some beverages and kind of making a lark out of life, as it should be.
Life larker.
So we get together every week. That sounds a little erotic. We get together every week to talk about three of our favorite topics to discussion: Mead, Metal, and MMA. And we usually hit them in that order unless I'm drinking too many beers and I forget and get kind of the MMA before the metal or something like that. But we usually try to stay to kind of set criteria on how we line up the show. We start off with Mead. This week, progress on the current batch that we have underway is our Runestone batch for those of you that hadn't been listening previous.
Continues to chug right along. Well, it's really slowed down a lot, but...
Yeah, it's about time for us to move that batch and then into secondary fermentation and then start adding our amendments. That's our orange and vanilla mead. And we did an experimental batch on that back at the end of 2016, decided to go full batch with it. And we started at March 3rd, and everything was fine. It was proceeding as it should. Usually primary fermentation is going to be about a 30-day process or so. Well, that bastard, about the time it kind of calmed down, suddenly it comes back with a vengeance, full fermentation again, full flocculation. So we kind of said, oh, okay. All right, you're the man.
The fluctuation in weather here in the high plains had a lot to do with that, I think.
It's only because you only say that because it's like it gets down to freezing and things like that overnight, and it barely cracks 50 some days, and
it was fucking snowing 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and then we get 85-degree days like today. It is psychotic to say the least. So that's got to put a little pressure on the mead, but I think in a good way though. But interesting talking about mead. We had to drown our sorrows after UFC 210. Last Saturday, and we'll talk more about that coming up. But found out something kind of interesting. So we went ahead and cracked a bottle of Troublemaker. And I will say, if you are sitting on a bottle of Troublemaker, or any of our mead, by the way, any of it, I think this would probably be evident going back to anything made in the last year and a half.
Right.
Decant it, just like you would a wine. You don't have to get all crazy with the crystal and all this other shit. I mean, I wouldn't dump it in a coffee can either, but...
an appropriate vessel.
Little oxygen get to it. We killed off like 2/3 of that bottle.
Which is really a rarity for me. Usually if I open a bottle of Troublemaker, there ain't nothing left.
There are no survivors.
I was just too sad.
Well, we'd put away a lot of beverages that night, so.
Yeah. It was a great night for drinking.
Well, especially after the main event. But so we killed like 2/3 of the bottle. Remaining, leaving nothing but airspace. We'd, plugged it and kind of just left it sit out. The reason I say that I think decanting might be a very good way. Obviously, oxidation is what happens. That's what gives wine kind of an aged flavor. The problem is you can overdo it.
Yeah, there's a very small window of greatness there.
Our window was basically 5 days. So if you have the ability to go ahead and decant wine and let it sit there, or mead, either one, and let it sit there on a Sunday, and then so that way you have something to drink on Friday. I know that's a big ask of the average person.
Usually one bottle open, one bottle gone.
But the oxygen it'll put a little age on it in a hurry. Now, why we say there's a fine line there, 7 or 8 days is going to be too long.
Right. But I think overall the honey flavor came out a lot more. A lot of the...
Well, it should be noted, too, you were drinking yesterday at room temperature on that remaining third, which makes a very big difference, too. It has very, very different flavor profiles when it's at 40 degrees or when it's at 50 degrees or when it's at 60 or 70.
Yeah, but it was amazing how much the honey came out because it's a spice mead.
Right.
It came out and punched the balls right off of the spice. Really made it secondary.
Lady friend of ours, one of our donators, had pointed out. Actually, I think she was pointing out with batch one. She'd asked me. She said, "Well, what's a good temperature?" I said, "What are you looking for?"
Yeah, it depends on who's enjoying it.
If you're trying to get the full honey effect, obviously we'd mentioned oxygen. That's helpful in time, but if you're wanting to get the full honey effect, room temperature is the best way to go.
Absolutely.
Having said that, I prefer it around 45, 50 degrees. I like it to be a little cool because it gives me the maximum number of flavor profiles without it being too honey-ish.
Right.
But that's just my preference. Everybody has their own. I mean, for fuck's sake, some people like ketchup on fries.
I drink it when it's opened.
Well, that's true. You're not as discerning as some.
I don't have a picky palate. I just know what gets me fucked up and what don't.
So we're going to have Runestone ready to move and add in our flavor amendments probably by the next time we get together with you. And we'll be probably starting Green Man or a Piment or something like that. I would truly like to get some of our donors to kind of step up and help us out a little bit. I'd like to move a few bottles in order to be able to make more room on our credit line for the meadery, so that way we can get those batches started. If not, we're still going to do it, but we haven't really put out a call for some of you at least in our local area to where we have to make sure we kind of know you first.
That's
because
right.
Donation process is a little touch and go for the laws as they are in the state of New Mexico.
But thanks for the help nonetheless.
Let's move along to metal.
The day of your birth. It was a good day for metal.
It was a good day for me.
It's a good day for you because you were here. You showed up to the party.
Yeah, kind of like showing up for college classes these days. I showed up and signed in.
I'm good, right?
So April 14th, down the years, what do we got?
Well, you have two metal albums came out on the day of your birth.
On that.
Well,
really?
yeah.
On the not
on the day you were birthed,
yeah.
But on the day of.
Right.
37 years ago, Iron Maiden self-titled came out. Debut album.
I know a lot of people when you start talking about Iron Maiden, they're going to always assume Bruce Dickinson was the only lead singer they had. Paul Di'Anno was, I think, their first guy, probably. I know that he was really kind of the integral part. I mean, really, his skills were only getting better and better by the time that Bruce Dickinson joined the band. But go back and listen to Run to the Hills, the Paul Di'Anno version, and Run to the Hills, the Bruce Dickinson version. Paul Di'Anno's got a lot more beef. He's got a little lower range. But I don't think he holds a candle to what Bruce really brought to the table for that band.
When there was a place in Clovis on 21st Street. It's called
Dragon Slayer? Oh, okay.
I was in there perusing. It was a day when they started selling bongs and water pipes and shit.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a head shop.
Yeah,
or it was.
It turned into a head shop. I mean, it was just a straight-up record store for metalheads and, pro wrestling merchandise. But then they started it.
All your metal and WWF stuff you could want.
That's right. And then they even had wrestling-themed bongs. It was really awesome. They had one of The Undertaker that was fucking purple and black with his head at the bottom. It was a little weird. But I'd bought Iron Maiden's. The first album I'd actually bought of Iron Maiden's was Brave New World, which came out in 96.
Yeah.
Fucking blew me away. It opened the door to me to all the other Iron Maiden stuff. I knew of Iron Maiden, but I was never interested in them at the time.
Yeah. My brother Daryl had a Peace of Mind. And there I was a young teen listening to that right after it came out. And at that time, that was back in the era when a lot of noise was being made that heavy metal was corrupting children and driving them to all be Satanists.
It was all Kiss's fault.
So I blame Gene Simmons, damn it,
that motherfucker.
But no. So I kind of pulled that out of his album rack and gave it a listen, gave it another listen. I thought, what the hell is the problem here? Because it oddly didn't turn me into a Satanist. It actually made me kind of well, there's still maybe a ways to go.
The Dark Lord is still trying to find his way to your heart.
Talking about King Crimson? Is that the...
So your brother gave you good shit, man. My brother, I got Metallica from him.
Well, hold on. He didn't give it to me. I had to kind of sneak it. I had to sneak a listen, but...
I got Metallica and Pink Floyd from my brother. But I also got, like, Quiet Riot and Def Leppard. Which, I don't know. Like, Def Leppard, I'm still, like, 50-50 on.
Def Leppard, like, with a lady and, like, low lighting and...
Well,
or are you talking Def Leppard while you're out working in the yard? Because, I mean, I can't get on your side on that one.
I don't know. Have you ever tried to mow the lawn while listening to Rock of Ages? It's pretty easy. Like, really, anything from High and Dry or Pyromaniac, I'm usually down with.
No.
Hysteria, little squishy.
A little bit.
Then it just gets squishier from there. And then it just got weird.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. But yeah, back to the point on Iron Maiden. Yeah, Peace of Mind was the first experience I had. So then I had to go back and listen to the other ones. Number of the Beast being a big one.
Huge.
They had a couple of EPs with Paul Di'Anno on them. Killers, I think that was a Di'Anno one, I think. But nonetheless, though, if you want to go back and listen to those side by side, there's not even a difference. You'll go, okay, Bruce Dickinson obviously was the right guy for the job.
Yeah. Kudos to what he did, but Bruce is the man.
But probably the one record in my history that blew my damn doors off, it was Power Slave.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so anyway, let's get back to April 14th. You said another record came out this date.
British Steel.
Judas Priest. That's back when
on the same fucking day as a debut came out from Iron Maiden.
So that had been 1980. So that's back when people thought that Alfred was still into ladies. Rob Alford, yeah. And K.K. Downing, really good guitar player. That guy could shred back in the day.
Yeah. I think it's weird. Like, I really thought people would lose their minds when they found out. I mean, it wasn't really that big of a shock to me when they said Rob Halford was gay.
Yeah, but by that time, Judas Priest had already really kind of hit their high
they'd already
points.
conquered.
Yeah.
They were already legends. So it really didn't. And it really had no effect on anybody.
Yeah.
Where, nowadays, I guess it's tough to be gay.
Yeah. Well,
especially out in public.
Well,
if you're a public figure.
Yeah, but Rob Halford had that was the time of AIDS,
Yeah.
Freddie Mercury had already been diagnosed and shit, about, because I was want to say it's like 86, 87.
Right.
So that was a different era. Nowadays you can certainly an artist can jump out, hey, that's kind of how I roll. People go, oh, okay, good for you, man. But Rob Halford was kind of coming out in a really weird era, so.
Man, Painkiller is such a good album. That's probably my favorite.
Yeah, British Steel was a very genre-changing, but
it was right at that new wave.
Yeah, it kind of dictated the change of the direction that metal was going to go. Which, there are very few that you can say that's a genre-defining kind of a record. But yeah, I don't know. Judas Priest had put out. I'm trying to think if we're talking favorite albums. There was one they had. It was mostly acoustic, and
oh wow, really?
Yeah, but it was a very themed kind of an album, shall we say, involving the whole revolution in heaven or whatever. It was kind of a weird album, and I'm not seeing. I'm looking for it, and I'm just not finding it. Oh well, it's because I'm under the wrong shit here. See, I've got Killing Machine on vinyl, and that one it's fine, but it's not an end all be all. British Steel was the big one. God, I wish I could find what I'm looking for. Yeah, there it is. British Steel, 1980. Yeah, I'm going to have to get back with you on that one. I don't think it was Angel of Retribution, because that was later.
We'll cover it next week.
I'm in another one of those, like, where I'm kind of gobsmacked and trying to figure out where it's not Metalworks, it's not Genocide. Those were all new. Yeah, well, let's move on. But yeah, I was never a big Judas Priest guy, though. That's the other thing. Wanted to be. Sad Wings of Destiny. There it is, 1976. But there was a lot of acoustic on it, though. But yeah, that's Judas Priest. Big day for them. Big day for Iron Maiden. We got anything else on this date?
7 years ago, Peter Steele of Typo fucking died. Sad day. Love that fucking band.
2010.
2010. Put out an album called October Rust, which is just fucking brilliant top to bottom. Has a cover of Cinnamon Girl on there, which is amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
How did he die? Was it like a Leonard Skinner thing?
Aorta blew up.
Oh, okay. So it went like a Kurt Cobain, like lead poisoning thing.
No.
Okay.
He'd always wanted. He always a lot of his songs focused on death and the want to die, which is why it's ironic he died the way he did.
Wasn't there like the little founder guy of like MySpace, like a huge Typo negative fan or something like that?
Tim?
Tim, yes.
Everybody's
Tim.
friends with Tim. I wonder if Tim is recovered from everything that's happened.
No. They had the opportunity to be the first Facebook, and they fucked
poor
that
Tim.
Other things on this date, April 14th, 1865. President Lincoln went to the theater.
A chill filled the room.
Never did get a good review on the play, but so Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? Other than that,
Outside of what happened at the end.
1912, the RMS Titanic sunk, thereby killing off yet another Leonardo DiCaprio character.
And now hangs in a room at the Luxor in Las Vegas to this very day.
What parts of the Titanic?
Yeah, they have a whole well, they have an exhibit at the Luxor,
right,
where it's just basically things gotten from the Titanic, a whole bunch of learny things. And
I like the bunch of learny
no, fuck
stuff.
that. I wanted to smell the perfume that they still had. It's like, oh shit, that's like perfume from 105 years ago now.
Well, my great granny smelled like.
Mama. Smells like cinnamon and liquor.
And regret.
And lots of it. But yeah, at the very end of the exhibit, they had just a huge side piece of the Titanic.
Side piece?
Yeah. It was toy. Last time I went to Vegas, I got to touch it because they didn't have a rail. Well, now this time they have a huge-ass rail.
Yeah.
I was bummed. I want to really touch that thing.
Wow. Let's get to the MMA portion here.
Oh,
because
come on.
got
Do we have
bunch.
to, man?
Yeah.
Do we have to?
I usually tell on fight nights if it's going to be a whimsical night or not. I'm usually throwing messages back and forth with our friend Patrick in Halifax, and that was one of those. I thought, okay, well, I'm up for jacking around through the early prelims, the early prelims and the prelims, but things are going to get serious come main card. We didn't
radio silence.
We didn't communicate at all, especially after the main event, which we might as well jump right to that.
Well, why would you want to talk about feeling like you were raped? Emotionally raped.
The Rumble.
God, man.
The Rumble fight. Look, we both picked him, because we thought with his ability, his athletic ability and his ability to just straight murder people with his hands.
To generate just so much power.
And he goes out and basically tries to fight Daniel Cormier like Cormier would fight Cormier, and that is by going out trying a couple of takedowns. And
guess what? They didn't work.
No, because that's not his skill set.
All the while, Henry Hooft is in the corner losing his fucking mind.
And then after Rumble taps in the second
round.
Yeah, his whole corner said, "Man, that's it. All right." And they left. Joe Rogan's out in the octagon interviewing him, and he's out there, "Hey, where's my corner at? You know where your corner's at? They abandon you just like you abandoned the strategy."
They're out getting the car. They're getting the fuck out of here. Because he made a choice. He quit that fight before he walked out there.
Do you think he quit the fight before weigh-ins?
It's hard to tell. I mean, even I watched the embeddeds going up to the fight. He seemed fucking ready.
And he said, and so then he announces his retirement after he got completely embarrassed on a international stage. And, and said, he'd been thinking about it for a long time. The only people who knew were his family and close friends. So apparently even his corner didn't know. But they were able to figure out his retirement was that night, by the way, that he decided to go ahead and approach that fight.
It was a tough night. Usually at the end of a card, no matter what, the meadery is quite boisterous.
Oh, yeah.
with
No,
discussion.
it was
Deep
nothing but-
discussion of what happened at that particular, even on weekend cards like we have going on tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's still good energy after the card's over, even if a guy that you were really rooting for didn't get the job done.
Well, that's because that's the problem is that I don't generally have a favorite fighter. You know, and it's kind of kicked me in the ass twice now. Donald Cerrone, and then after last weekend, Anthony Johnson. And so, yeah, maybe it's best for me not to have a favorite fighter.
Well, at least Cerrone didn't fucking retire.
Yeah. Well, he just took an ass kicking like a man.
Yeah. One he probably didn't have to take.
Well, that's the other problem, isn't it? But, yeah, no. Great open weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Oh, man.
maybe
never,
not weeping and gnashing of teeth. But
never has this meadery been so quiet after
the air got sucked out of here right when everybody that was here recognized, oh, Rumble gave up.
And then the card was over. Our two guests left.
Yeah.
Your lady went to bed.
Yeah.
And it was just us.
Man, you stand around looking like a couple of fucking club seals.
It's like going in to like a building or something and then coming out and suddenly everyone is gone.
Yeah.
And it's just you and your thoughts.
It was a bizarre night. You know, well,
thankfully queuing up some UFC too and beating the shit out of people on the internet, that really helped kind of.
Allowing you to throw some
helps.
violence back at others is always good. But yeah, and it was the other thing that was weird to me because then Rumble, who claimed that that it was his retirement fight anyway. It even seemed like he was trying to steal the fire from Patrick Cote, who had retired earlier in the evening.
And I don't know. It seems to be like even though Cote didn't do it because Cote retired that night as well. I guess people maybe thought he was going to retire, but there was never. Usually, a fighter's going to be like, "Look, this is my last one." Like the way Faber and Hendo did it.
Well, that's when it gets really weird is when you don't, and then you say after the fight, "Oh yeah, well I've been thinking about this for a while, and so I knew this was going to be my last fight." Well, then why didn't you say something?
Yeah, were these? You want to know? Was this in Rumble's brain? Those last couple of fights, then.
Oh man, but
while he was dominating, fucking everybody after Cormier beat him.
I don't know. I got a friend of mine that would probably talk about Rumble and say, "Yeah, there's a lot of quitting that boy."
It's sad, but at the end of the day, we're just gonna have to find another hero at the light heavyweight division.
Maybe we find a heavyweight at 125. Let's talk about tomorrow.
Well, actually, no, we gotta talk about Weidman and.
Oh, well, yeah, but the problem is with that one is that Dan Murgliata, probably about the third or fourth best referee, I think, in the sport.
I'd call him third.
I'm not talking shit about him. I think he's solid. I think he's behind Big John, who's the top of my list. I think he's behind Herb Dean. I think he's behind Mark Goddard nowadays.
I'd have him right below Herb Dean and right above Eve Levine.
Oh, really? Where do you put Mark Goddard? Way at the bottom?
I'd have Mark Goddard right below Eve Levine. Maybe Keith Peterson after that.
Well, he's got a pass, but
Yeah.
Google that for yourself. But yeah, I mean, they come in for a stoppage because under the old rules, if a guy has got a fingernail on the canvas, but yet he's standing, that's considered to be a kneeling position. You can't hit him with a knee or a kick or anything like that.
Right.
Well, the rules changed. You got to be palms down, 2 palms.
You got to be putting weight.
No
down.
Fingers. Well, so then Gegard, Chris Weidman, he's kicking his ass. Weidman doesn't know which week that it is, or whatever, or
Doesn't
even
know
month.
what month it is.
And Gegard is just kicking his ass.
And you can see in that second one, he kind of lifts him up right before that second knee hits to make sure both those hands are not flush.
Because Gegard knew what the rule was. And they kept talking the whole broadcast. Yeah, these are new rules that rolled out tonight, and blah, 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 blah. And the fighters have to be aware of this. Weidman apparently, well, actually not even on Weidman. Apparently the problem is the referee forgot about that rule.
Yeah. Well, and also you got to think about it. I mean, Dan probably didn't have the best view either. And he just had to go with his gut. I think Weidman kind of sold it a little.
I think too often we fault officials immediately, and maybe that's right. And Weidman did. Weidman was acting like that was something that was way off the books and everything else.
As soon as he was told he was going to get 5 minutes, he was rolling around on the ground and recovering. But then as soon as they said, "Oh yeah, well no, you're good. Let's get up and fight," and then doctors stopped it. Yeah. Which, by the way, before any of these fights started, my words to you Where I wonder how New York's going to fuck up this card tonight.
Yeah.
And we found out in the co-main event.
They fucked up every other card so far, and it held in the Empire
205 is the only one that went off without a hitch. I think.
There were some questionable judging issues off of that one. But,
well, you can't blame the commission, the athletic commission for that one.
Let's
well,
move
yeah,
on.
you can. They're the ones promoting.
Yeah,
the
no,
goddamn
absolutely.
referees.
It's all in there. It's the New York Athletic Commission. Let's get to the fights coming up tomorrow because we're already getting a little late in the podcast. I don't. Which, by the way, I don't care about the early prelims, which start 2:00 our time.
Oh man,
And the
nothing like early Saturday card.
nothing like a Fox card. Yeah, the prelims.
At least it's not overseas.
Yeah, the prelims start at 4. So that means the main card starts 6:00 Mountain Time. There's only one on the prelim card I even care about, and that's Zach Cummins' fight.
Zach Cummins.
Yeah, he's bald-headed.
Oh, fighting Nathan Coy.
Yeah, he's got a beard game is strong with that guy.
Oh God, yeah. Let's see. Got Aljamain Sterling fighting on the
that guy,
prelims.
he's on a 2-fight losing skid. He's there at the weigh-in. He takes off a 10-pound gold chain off around his neck. He's acting like this. That he's never lost. It's like, look, asshole, you've got to get a win.
Yeah. Bobby Green fighting Rashid Magomedov. That should be pretty good.
Magomedov will probably end up getting the win on that one, I would think. Bobby Green, good skill set, but man, Magomedov is he's been kind of a really well-kept secret to date.
And closing out the Fox Sports 1 prelims, Roy Nelson and Alexander Volkov.
Which I didn't see coming.
Me neither. I don't know why that one didn't jump out at me more.
I was talking to our bartender friend Krista. She said that Alexander Volkov, it sounds like a Bond villain.
Actually, it sounds like a Russian pro wrestler.
Well, that's what I had said. I thought, yeah, from like the 80s, right?
Yeah, sounds like Nikolai Volkov's little brother. Which I'll go ahead and pick Roy Nelson in that just because, hey, he's a fat guy in the MMA, and I can appreciate that.
Yeah, his mullet game is strong. So.
Oh God, yeah, that beard and mullet game. Jeez, he's gonna when he goes Super Saiyan, it's gonna be ridiculous.
But man, at the weigh-in though, the height difference is astounding. I mean, Volkov looks like he's fighting a guy 2 weight classes under.
He's got to go Mark Hunt him, man. Just like when Mark Hunt broke Stephen Struve's jaw.
Yeah.
If you're a little stout dude, but you got a lot of kinetic power going behind you.
This might be bad news for Roy Nelson if he can't close the distance. But oh well. Let's get to the main card.
Jeremy Stevens fighting.
Who's now got a Conor McGregor haircut, by the way.
The Fook. And did you notice how he was basically acting exactly like Conor McGregor?
He is turned into Conor McGregor.
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
Who the fuck is that? Damn. I'm picking Conor McGregor Jr. by flashy KO in the first round.
Yeah, Jeremy Stevens got a lot to prove with what he's doing. So yeah, I think he's kind of hell bent on making some moves here.
And after that, a fucking murderer named Jacare.
Maybe. Which Jacare are we going to get? Because, man, he looked unimpressive 2 fights ago when he got that loss. But
yeah, well, let's see, who was that against? Shit. When he fought Vitor?
No.
Hold on, let me.
Don't go get me lying. But
Let me go pull up the old machine here. Yoel, when he fought Yoel.
Yoel Romero, yeah. Yoel just
Which
really,
he lost by a split decision.
Yeah.
In a pretty controversial card. But then he went and, murdered Vitor and Tim Boach.
Yeah.
And has beaten Gegard, beaten Okami. I mean, Jacare.
He's the solid number 3 or 4 in that division.
17 submissions. Whew. I don't like Robert Whittaker's chances.
I don't, but Whittaker, every time I pick against him, that guy proves me wrong. So I think it's going to be a good fight.
Well, just don't make him your favorite fighter.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Then it's over.
I'm going to go buy a bunch of merchandise or anything. So who we got after that?
Co-main event. Couple broads.
I got the Karate Hottie.
I think I'm going to go Rose Namajunas in this one. I know she lost her last one.
Rose is ranked a little higher. I think Watterson, this is where she can prove that she is the rightful contender for the crown there at strawweight.
Yeah, Rose is, ever since she beat Paige Van Zandt. Was it Paige Van Zandt?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, her career.
But that's because Paige Van Zandt had a bunch of hype put behind her by the organization. I think undue. She and Sage Northcutt were supposed to be the future faces of the UFC. Both of them lost disastrously on the same night.
Yeah. And I mean, she fought Carolina. Gal that went on to fight Joanna.
Yeah, which
It was a great fight. It was only a split
she's
decision
got a
loss.
great chin and laser accuracy with her hands, and that's why Rose lost that one.
But I can understand. I wouldn't be surprised if Michelle Waterson just knocked
She's
her
one's
fuck
got
out.
she's one's got something to prove. So we'll see what happens with that.
The main event, man, chasing history.
I'll go Mighty Mouse against whoever he's fighting.
I'm going for the other guy. Whoever, I don't care who it is.
Because the other guy, I honest to God, I don't remember the guy's name.
Well, when you've defended a belt successfully 9 times, and
Cleared
you're
the
going for your
entire
10th,
division, and you start facing the number 7, number 8 guy down the list just because that's where it's at.
I mean, it's great because it really allows a lot of guys some opportunity at 125. It's like, who knows, man? You could be fighting for the belt just because our 9th-ranked fighter broke his ankle in training.
You could be the next Chris Weidman or Ronda Rousey or whatever. Sure, you can come in and shock everybody.
Absolutely.
But good luck, because Demetrius
Oh,
Johnson,
but you have to go fight Mighty Mouse? Oh, well, never mind then.
Although
Live
he
your
got-
dream, kid.
he got a little lit up last time he fought. I've never seen that before.
I think it was because it was against a wild card.
Yeah,
It was a random guy, basically.
well, which is kind of what he's fighting tomorrow.
And I can't remember the guy's name. I got to pull him up because has he fought since fighting Mighty Mouse?
Man, here's the problem with the men's flyweight division is there's not a lot of them, and number 2, if his name's not Mighty Mouse, I don't pay a lot of attention, especially ever since Dotson.
Oh, Tim Elliott. Fucking dude's fighting on this card.
Oh,
Yeah, fighting Louis Smolka.
oh, well, yeah, Smolka's kind of a beast.
So that'll be very interesting.
But-
That's actually a fight I'm kind of curious to see. I'd like to see how he does against someone that isn't Mighty Mouse.
Well,
Comes
we'll
out and
see.
has a dominating thing.
At a
But,
minimum, the main card is going to be a good card.
Yeah,
so.
Mighty Mouse finishing the 3rd.
Let's wrap this bastard up. I got some beers to drink from a birthday.
It's time for some. We'll have that shot of rye right after this.
Yeah. We usually have a shot of rye before, but
Well, let's get this birthday underway, man.
all right, you bunch of heathens. We'll touch base next week.
Enjoy the fights tomorrow.
Indeed, and throw some comments on her once in a while. It'd be nice. Let us know what you want us to listen to. We're not going to completely shit on it. I mean, or I won't.
And now, the world premiere.
Oh, that's right. Okay. By the way, we started working on a cover tune back in
go real serious on it.
November, December. Yeah, and then we thought, well, we're going.
We were
going
going to have it out for Valentine's Day because it would have been a great day for that song to come out. But look, it's mid-April. It's here now.
We both got jobs,
We got shit to do.
so we did a cover of the Cure love song. It's supposed to sound raw. That's what we're aiming for. It sounded a little too raw, so I had to go back and redo the lead guitar parts because it
Had
just
to go lube it up a bit.
Yeah, well, and I may have had a beverage or two before I did that. So last time around, then I was in the right mindset, and we put it all together last Friday after the podcast, and I'll let Brandon set it up.
There you go, friends. Our the world premiere of our humble single, In the Vein of the Cure. It's a love song. We hope you like it. Let us know if you don't. Let us know something. Give us something. Give us your number.
See you next week, you shits.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Whenever I'm alone with you, you make me feel like I am home Bye.